Ladies and gentlemen, this is Freedom Report. The broadcast will start shortly after this brief song.
I got arrested just a few days ago in a sting operation for my 13th time. My brother's 16th time. I mean, we are beating some Guinness Book of Records. This is unbelievable. I would never think that in Canada you would have to do this. It's unbelievable.
Stefanos, you're frozen. Oh man, they gotta change your modem.
1 hour later.
Now forgive my paper here, but you know what? When it's that song, you write on anything you get. God bless you. Amen. Thank you.
Very large crowd here. So, very large line of protesters, very large line of police and riot police who are actually moving further. But I was, just before I even turned this phone on, they weren't coming over this snow hill up here, but here, I'll show you everybody. Yeah, they're coming over this snowbank and they're going to want to push everybody out of here.
Ed, you need it.
Well, I'm just going to start by saying I never expected to be the guy in front of the cameras, in front of the media. I just wanted to grill. I just wanted to run my business, sell our sandwiches and our platters of meat, give good job opportunities to people, and try to enrich my local community with the kind of food that I can make. I've been put in this strange position where I had no choice but to engage in civil disobedience. So.
A lot bigger crowd than Edmonton. I salute you all, the freedom fighters. I'm a freedom-loving pathologist, and I've got a big career on the line here. I've spent my entire life in evidence-based medicine, being a good guy, a soldier for organized medicine, and then that's not good enough. I'm spreading, according to them, misinformation, except the only problem is they won't tell you what the information is that I'm misinforming you about.
But you told me that they had their safeties off, right?
Well, there was one guy standing there with the AR, there was kids around, and one fellow said, why do you have ARs, full tactical gear, with you when we're unarmed, and there's kids around?
Oh, there we go. Playing most games again.
Yeah.
So, so this is gonna be one you want to share out, guys.
Freedom Report has special guests like April Lejeune, Pat King, Conrad R.C. Goodsir, Artur Pulowski, Misty Wind, Mike Martins, Chris Sky, Jason J. Manpachernik, Aaron Barker, Dr. Daniel Nagase, Adam Skelly.
And you have to prove that you have a lawful reason to be there. And I say your lawful reason is Section 6 of the...
You have a lawful reason to be here because you're a citizen of Canada.
That's right.
Everything about all the corruption and the voting scandals. Just wait till
Police started coming in and taking people's stuff again, and I thought that was illegal. They just said that the first time. They're supposed to return everything.
Freedom Report. Broadcast starts now. Thank you for watching.
Good evening, everybody. This is Freedom Report. This is Derek Story. We run Monday to Friday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Calgary time and 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Toronto time. So we got a couple updates tonight. So we got Vladislav Sobolev coming on, Kevin J. Johnston, and possibly Kristen Nagel. Is it Kristen coming on, Ed?
Yeah, she is. But first we're going to start with Kevin. And tomorrow we got Chris Sky coming on and Stefanos. We're going to be talking about how, those of you that have kids, well, you don't really have them. So that's going to be a pretty heated night. And Kevin, what do you got to say for yourself?
Well, as always, Ed, I have far too much to say. You know me. If you give me a microphone, I'll start talking and I'll finish up sometime next month. Maybe. Now, what did you guys want to cover? Hey, first and foremost, I got to say, again, to Ed, to Derek, to Stefanos, thank you to you three gentlemen for keeping the show alive. Even though I can't be a part of it, well, I couldn't be a part of it. There's still a lot of things I can't do by court order, but we'll get into that later on. Nonetheless, guys, thank you for doing what you do. It's remarkable. It pains me to have to watch the show and not participate, but the information, as always, is fantastic. I want to say a resounding thank you to Rose for continuing to moderate everything. Absolutely fantastic. And thank you to everybody who keeps sending in nice messages, and thank you to all of you that sent in handwritten cards and handwritten letters. I still absolutely love getting those. And there's a little guy named Jason. I got to say hi. So Jason in Saskatoon is going to be 6 years old on Friday, and he drew me a great picture of me standing beside a big fish because I had given him one of my fish drawings in the past. So thank you, buddy, and happy birthday, okay? I know I didn't get your phone number from you, but thank you for sending me in that picture. It's great to get pictures sent in of me drawn in crayon. So thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be guest hosting the show, not this Wednesday, but the following. And Derek and I have talked about this. We are going to run a 3-hour show. A special guest so far is the astounding Michael Arana, who's currently in New York State. He's got a lot to say about what's going on with the Biden administration. I'm going to have to be selective what I talk about, and of course, everything I wish to talk about is being looked at, scrutinized, and some of it will be cleared by my lawyer. It is crazy to think of just how many restrictions I truly have. So that's the brief rundown. God, Ed, what else could we talk about? Everything. Yeah. How's your mama doing? How's everything?
Not well. Kevin, Kathy Cross, Bill C100. Are we screwed? Nowhere, just temporarily. You will get charged. Someone's going to get charged, and we got to do a constitutional challenge on that right away and get this ridiculous law knocked down and wiped out, and just throw it right back in their face. There's a lot of laws in the books. Problem is, no one challenges them according to our Constitution. We have the power.
Well, you know what?
How it's just a matter.
Sure, okay, but guys, have a look at this, though. They keep pounding everybody with these laws because they know that we, the people, we don't have the money to continually fight what they're doing. They get to lay down any law or any bill or suggestion or motion that they want, and they can do it free of charge because it's our money that they're playing with. But we have to cook up our own money to argue it and to fight it. Yeah, people are going to get arrested for this. Every new thing that they put on the books, including not being allowed to protest anymore in Alberta and Ontario, people are going to be arrested for this en masse. It's going to be a matter of, is the judge presiding over that case liberal or conservative? That's what it's going to boil down to. Does the judge uphold the law, or does the judge act on behalf of his or her personal beliefs? And it's getting tougher and tougher to find people that are going to scrutinize what's before them as opposed to just going with what they think makes them feel better. Very, very difficult times, everybody. I have to refrain from telling you what I really think, only because CSIS, the RCMP, Calgary Police, Edmonton Police, Toronto, everybody still watches this show. I think half the audience of this show are government employees scrutinizing everything that has been said here. So I have to be very careful until my lawyer clears all the subjects I want to cover. I can't say what I want to say.
Hey, Kevin.
Unfortunate. Yeah, man, go ahead.
Why don't you tell people what you've been up to lately, no?
Sorry, brother, your volume's incredibly low. I didn't catch that.
Why don't you tell people what you've been up to lately?
What I have been up to lately?
Yes.
Is that the question?
About
Yes.
5'8", isn't it?
No, God, no, man. I'm never going to break 5'6" unless I put on high heels. So, Ed, if I could borrow your high heel shoes, I might make it to 5'8".
Maybe a pair of cowboy boots.
Everybody, they are high heel shoes. Okay, what am I up to? Well, as you may or may not be aware, I'm sure you are aware, I have been absolutely buried in a mountain of legal paperwork. There's been so much legal paperwork that I've had to go through that right now, and for the last, I'd say, not quite 2.5 weeks, I've been dedicating 4 to 6 hours every day to just learning the system, learning the legal system, learning how to fill things out, and getting the appropriate motions and everything else filed with the courts. It's a lot of work. And that is, of course, the plan. Keep guys like me and Chris Sky and Pat King and whatnot buried in paperwork so that we can never live a life. After my car accident, I guess you'll all be thrilled to know, I simply do not trust anybody in AHS to carry out any medical procedures or analysis on me. The way that some of the nurses and the way some of the doctors and staff of AHS react to me when they see me, based on the slander thrown out by AHS themselves, I wouldn't put my life in any of their hands. So, after the accident, I told you guys I wasn't able to lift my right arm, and I wasn't able to turn my neck to the right. I rehabbed myself. I got on the phone with a friend of mine who's a rehab expert. He's down in Minneapolis, and he gave me a whack of things to do. So I've done them all. I can now turn my neck, and I can now raise my arm over my head. I had to do it myself because I just don't trust the medical system. So I've been up to that. That's been a lot of work. Aside from that, though, folks, you guys know that I've been studying the crypto market, and I've been studying the Forex and studying the money markets out there, and I have a lot of information to share on Wednesday's show about where things are going based on the research I've done. So there you go. My days are very long, and they're right now not very fruitful because obviously I can't work according to our government, and they're not letting me work. So I have an income right now of $0.00, aside from the food scraps they toss at me when I dance around like a bear on a chain downtown Calgary.
Well, at least you can grab food from Pastor Art on Sundays, so you get 1 meal a week.
There you go. Yes, it's not, guys, it's not an easy life. If you want to get into journalism in Canada, the way that it is, it's not an easy life. Not only do you have to endure all the slander and libel from the media, you have to endure the radical groups like Black Lives Matter, the Communist League, and Antifa, and they're still on my case. They also have to endure the government, and the government's going to continue to do everything they can to shut everybody up.
Well,
but what I can,
it could be worse. You could be in Ukraine and you have to deal with Nazis, the real ones.
I don't even want to touch that one because that's a 3 to 5 hour show unto itself. But what I will say though is Antifa has made it very clear that they are following me all over the city. It's weird. Wherever I am, photographs of me are showing up on Twitter, and they're always tagging it Kevin J. Johnston, and they'll name the restaurant. It's actually, God, man, it was so bizarre. Like a week and a half ago, Antifa was talking on Twitter about the fact that I was spotted at McDonald's by the airport having a cup of coffee. Like, that's crazy. That's about 2.5 weeks ago now. It's got to be at least 2.5 weeks. Yeah, 2.5 weeks ago. This is what they do. They're still following me around, like taking pictures of me drinking coffee. That, let's be honest here, folks. Me drinking coffee just couldn't possibly be that interesting that a group of you are going to follow me around to watch me do it. But if that floats your boat, more power to you.
Well, they're doing that to me too. They're taking pictures of me at rallies and using it as their profile pictures.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad-looking face, man. So they could have a worse profile picture up. The left wing for them, I'm going to say regrettably for them, over the course of the next 2 to 5 years, as the economy sinks further and further, and as more and more of these rules and laws that they wanted get implemented, they're going to wake up one day and realize that about half the rights they used to have are completely gone. So they are in for a rude awakening. Anybody who watches this show, anyone who's listened to me for the last 5 years, anyone who's a fan of Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson, Pastor Archer Pawlowski, or otherwise, you all know that our rights are being eroded every week. So you're not surprised. You're doing your best to work within it. Whereas the left wing, they don't understand it, not yet. When they do, that is when they are completely screwed, because to be a leftist means that you have to be in a constant state of anger and rage. It is very difficult to stay angry for as long as these people do. It begins to destroy their psyche, and it's very exhausting. I mean, how many times have you had an argument with someone and then went to bed an hour later because you're burned out? Or you've had a major temper tantrum where you put your fist through a couple things and you pass out, you fall asleep. The amount of energy that it takes to stay angry is immense. It takes more energy to be angry than it does to work out. So they burn themselves out being angry for that long. And eventually, because they're exhausted, they tend to wake up. But for the left, it's going to be too late. Everything that you've done to take away my rights and Ed's rights and Chris Guy's rights is going to affect you considerably more than it affects us, because we know what's going on now and you do not. Rude awakenings tend to be a little too shocking for the average individual, especially those who are dumb.
Well, how do you know Antifa's not haven't come to their senses and they're happy to see you around?
They would be happy to see me around if I came out and said something foolish like, "Hi guys, I'm going to come out of the closet. I am what you would call a quadrosexual now. And if I was to list 3 odd objects that were not human beings, I would be a hero to them." It's strange, guys. It really is bizarre that they are so focused on this type of asininity. Are they happy to see me? Only from the standpoint of now they can take their rage away from the fact that they are without a girlfriend at home in mom's basement to focusing on me again. But for the record, guys, I can't do this very often. So unfortunately for you, bashing Kevin J. Johnston online is kind of an exercise in futility. I simply am not going to be on a show 5 days a week for you to be on there making ridiculous comments in the chat room and then getting upset when I ignore you. There you go. No, I don't know. Well, have they come to their senses now? No. You know, because if I did this full time again, you know that they would be back on my case immediately, and the number of photographs of me drinking coffee would ramp up to probably 20 a day. No, they're crazy. Leave them be.
You know, I ordered new glasses. Oh, Antifa, you owe me a pair of glasses. They're $250 plus tax, by the way.
Oh man, they hit you in the face with a stick.
No, that's from June 20th. Remember when they tried to kill Jack? 20th of June.
Yeah, the brick in the head. Yeah.
I lost.
I do remember.
Prescription glasses. And they're recently new glasses too. So I'm
That's unreal,
guys. One way or another, I'm getting those glasses.
Well, they do get checks from whichever local government's hiring them. We know that Antifa in Calgary gets paid by the city of Calgary. We know that Antifa Edmonton gets paid by the city of Edmonton, and it's always the same clowns over and over again. You can tell who they are by the way they walk. It's called GAIT, G-A-I-T, guys. You know, trust me when I say this. I'm an investigative journalist. I'm watching all of you. I know how you walk. I know how you wave your heads. I see your facial tics. Now, we know who you are. It's a matter of, I don't care. You see, guys, think about this. I am learning a whole ton of stuff. I'm having a really good time being around people that I care about. I don't care about you guys. See, you don't enter my heads until Ed asks me about you on the show. And as soon as I'm off the show, I don't care anymore. That's simple.
Right on. So, what else are we going to talk about? Oh, are you allowed to leave Alberta? Somebody asked.
Oh no. Oh no. There's a lot of restrictions that I still have, guys. A lot. I mean, I'm back on the internet. Excellent. I can use phones again. Excellent. That's great. Well, cell phones. Anyway, I was allowed to use landlines before, but not cell phones. Or I could use a cell phone if it was a clamshell or something that didn't have any internet access whatsoever. So I was just making phone calls from a really, really, really old phone. Nonetheless, those restrictions are gone, and there are no what you would call supervisory instructions or orders anymore. So I don't have to see any particular officer of the court on a regular basis. But I believe, now please don't quote me on this, because I think what it is I just don't care anymore. But I believe that I have a trial date coming up in November here in Alberta. I believe. I really don't know. I'd have to talk to my lawyer. I just don't care. There's been so many. Actually, hey, congratulations to me on the 27th of this month, everybody. I'm going to make my 300th court appearance since 2017. Is that incredible or what? How's that for a milestone?
Do you want a reward or something?
300th.
Have you called?
What's that?
Call the
You want a reward?
Records.
You know what? We should give Guinness a call. Let's find out if they want to take that one on.
We should. At least to get in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, man. Well, why not? Let's see what they say. They're very difficult to actually get their to get your records in there, though. By the way, do you know back in it was 1995, I think it was 1995, to raise money for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. It was myself and two of my friends. We played 38 hours and 6 minutes of straight miniature golf in Brampton. And Guinness, we sent them everything. We sent them all the videotapes, because back then we had to film stuff on camera. We sent them the tapes, the news articles, the photographs, scorecards. We sent them everything. And they sent me back a letter saying they've accepted the record, but they never stuck it in the book, which is kind of frustrating. So, I don't know. I have no clue if that record's been broken, by the way, because I stopped buying the Guinness Book of Records a long time ago. I've got the newspaper article somewhere, though.
So it looks like Hesham is one of the few people that knows I'm miking this phone right now.
Oh, Hesham's still there. Hey, buddy. Good to have you around. My Lord, he's been around forever. It's fantastic.
Yeah, he's kind of a shy guy. He comes up to me and he kind of like, should or shouldn't I say hi? He's always got.
Well, there you go, guys. So that's what I have been up to. I mean, it's not a perfect life, but it's one where I'm building towards much bigger and towards much better. And thank you to everybody on Instagram for complimenting my new hairdo. I decided to grow the front end a bit. I'm not doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger spiked look anymore. Misty Wind, our good friend Misty Wind, said, "Kevin, we're going to make you look sexy." And hey, I think she did a good job.
Well, you can't see my hair right now, but I need a haircut.
Yeah, Misty, if you're watching, we all need haircuts, by the way. I got to get trimmed. Make me look beautiful, baby.
So what else is coming up in the near future, Kevin?
In the near future, well, I'm just going to go back to the gym, guys. That's pretty much it. I mean, I want to get my fitness level back to where it was pre-COVID nonsense. That is certainly something I would love to do. I mean, if you guys look at the photographs of me hanging around David Menzies back in, what was it, 2019? Oh, man. My chest was a full inch bigger back then, and my arms were about 3/4 of an inch bigger back then. So I want to get back in the gym and really just get into really dynamite shape. Because I find that now that I'm 50, I'll be 51 this year, my particular outlook on everything has changed quite a bit. And now I'm looking at photographs of myself from my 30s. I'm thinking, my Lord, I was pretty much a sperm whale on feet. So I was absolutely fat beyond belief, and thinking, it's very easy to get back into that position. Now, I'm not dissing fat people. I'm talking about the fact that I wasn't healthy back then. Back when I was about 270 pounds at 5'6", I was getting major gout attacks, sleep apnea. Couldn't run without choking on the back of my own throat. These are not good things. But I did put something up for everybody. If you go to my Instagram page, which is just my name, Kevin J. Johnston, you'll see the driver's license photograph I had when I was 39. And you'll notice that my cheeks are connected directly to my chest. That's how much fat there is in my face. It's hilarious. So go ahead, guys. Follow me on Instagram if you can. I'll post there whatever my lawyer says that I'm allowed to post. And I want to say thank you to our new anonymous lady. She knows who she is. That took over all of my social media that I wasn't allowed to use at the time. And I do have to say, everybody, I know that I've not been very active on social media. But there are a number of reasons why that is. And yes, of course, I will get back into it when the opportunity arises or when the opportunity presents itself. Because I still want to continue to bring useful information to everybody. And I will. Starting on Wednesday. There you go. Wednesday, 3-hour show. I'm hosting the show that night. One night only.
So that's a week today?
That is a week tomorrow. Well, today's Tuesday, right? Today's Tuesday. So, yeah. 8 days, people. In 8 days, I'll be on. And yeah, you guys won't kick me off if I use the term "you people," will you?
Well,
we might.
If you're wearing a really loud suit, we might.
I'm gonna have to stick with something drab. I'll put on something really drab. How's that
The
sound?
Sportsnet and the CBC or whoever it was did it to Don Cherry. I guess we might as well do it to you too, right?
Yeah, sure. May as well join the club.
Yeah. Have you heard how Pierre Poilievre is drawing big crowds and basically lying to the people?
Pierre Poilievre is not somebody that I trust currently. I mean, there are photographs of him having posed with absolutely everybody who is responsible for all the nonsense that's going on now. Conservatives are just liberals in blue suits. That's all that they are today. I'm sorry, folks. I have absolutely no faith whatsoever in any politician right now, nor any political party to do the right thing. Aside from Stefanos will come right out and say, Libertarian Party. Sure, but the Libertarian Party is going to have to start getting a little bit braver than they have been. They're going to have to be bolder than they have. They have to be more brazen than they have. This whole notion, everyone, that you can run a political campaign successfully without standing out, that is the wrongest possible approach. Everyone thinks that, well, Canadians were polite and we like it nice and quiet. No, you don't. Absolutely no, you don't like it quiet. There's a reason why all of you follow Chris Sky around the country. When I was legally allowed to speak publicly, there was a reason why you all came out to watch me. There's a reason why you guys watch Pat King, because we are loud. Canadians want that. They are starved for it. So the Libertarian Party, I've spoken to quite a few Libertarians. Yeah, I like their ideas, but I don't like how quiet and how dainty they are. We don't want to upset the apple cart. We can't have any controversy whatsoever. That attitude is going to keep you completely and totally without seats anywhere in the country. I can't respect that level of foolishness. You got to be loud. You got to be brazen. You're going to have to come forward with what the people want, not necessarily what they need. This is something I've learned in politics now, having run 3 campaigns, is that people don't give a crap about what they need. It's only what they are emotionally attached to for that specific election. And what that would mean, everybody, is if I was going to run for mayor again, I'd have to come out and lie to you all. I'd have to lie. I'd have to come out and be a complete BS artist, and I'm not interested. So, but I'm not running for mayor of any city in this country again. I'm not. The only way to win is to lie. The only way to win is to brazenly lie. And in fact, if you read any experts' books on how to win in politics, it's just lie, and lie some more. You know, and when you get called out on it, lie about that too. And find someone else to blame. You know, you've got the cat's paws, what they call it. So you're blaming somebody else for the lies you've been caught in, and you're blaming somebody else for lying about the lies. And that's not who and what I am. I can't walk through life blaming other people for stuff, especially stuff that hasn't even gone wrong. So what I can say here is, no, I have zero faith in the Conservative Party whatsoever to do the right thing. Although, in Pierre's defense, the man is superior to the previous idiot, Aaron O'Toole. Aaron O'Toole was a complete fool. I'm so happy we don't have to endure him. But ultimately, will he do much? Nah. Like Chris Guy says, guys, and I agree with this statement, there is no political solution to any of this. None. I have the solution, but I can't tell you what it is.
All right, Kevin.
Because, yeah.
Thanks for coming on for 5 minutes.
Oh, hey, yeah. It's been a whole, 5 minutes. Look at that. My 5 minutes are up.
Vlad just popped in, and we got to give him time. He's got a lot of important stuff to talk about. You want to stay on, or?
It looks like
no, I do have to go, funny enough. I've got a late night appointment tonight. So there you go, guys. Listen, thank you. Thanks for doing what you do, guys. I love you all. And Wednesday night, everyone, let everybody know I will be hosting the 3-hour show on Wednesday night. If you have questions for me, get them ready to go. You can always put the word question in capital letters in the subject line, and you can send them to freedomreport.ca@gmail.com. Get those questions set to go for that night. We are going to get to as many of them as we can. Make them questions, though, guys. Don't make them statements. Like, if you actually want to know something, word it like a question. And please donate today, freedomreport.ca@gmail.com, because there's still a lot of expenses that Derek and Ed have to keep the show afloat. And, I don't want to see the show disappear. I don't think you do either. So please feel free to get over there and do that. Thanks, guys. Got to go. We'll see you Wednesday. Looking forward to it.
Okay, later. Perfect timing. We only had him on for 5 minutes, I swear.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Cool. You got new hats?
Yeah. You like it?
Yeah.
It's basically like the toque, just now the hat that we have almost springtime minus the snowflakes yesterday. But I was listening to the Snowflakes, a song by Tom MacDonald. If you don't know of it, I highly recommend. In fact, I would recommend maybe play it at the end of the show, guys. Tom MacDonald's Snowflakes. It's a good song. Lots of going on. Congratulations to our USA brothers and sisters after yesterday judge ruling. People can breathe freely on airplanes and trains, etc. I don't know if you had a chance. I'm sure you probably have. Many of you watched different videos from airplanes between the pilots congratulating people or flight attendants, stewards. Some of them were almost crying as they were saying to people they can take the diapers off their faces, and everyone's cheering. And there's a picture of one plane where everybody's basically with no mask, and there's like one guy behind, like still in a mask. He's just like the last one holding it. But apparently our minister was asked today if there's any changes to the Canadian one, and he said it is what it is. So no changes for us. And in fact, I'm sure you've seen Chris Sky video saying that CDC took all the countries off the list of not traveling to. So, but I don't think any of us really surprised, because we knew Canada will be the last one standing in this clown show. I guess, Australia and Canada, because apparently the New Zealand airlines, I saw that they're going away from the job mandate for the plane. So I think it's literally Australia and Canada, the only one too, still doing this.
I think it's May 3rd for New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. I just saw an article saying New Zealand airline will be dropping the mandate, or it already did. So if not already, it's going to be happening soon. And I also saw a quick TikTok video. Maybe we can pull up the website if I can find it in the meantime later. But Trudeau government spent $240 million on a microchip already. So again, the agenda is full on in China. So we have to do what we have to do to stay free, no matter what.
Well, if you figure we got 20% of the population says no, and I think we're going to get those numbers.
I think it's more than that. 20, almost 20% said no completely. And then we have, obviously countless amount of people that not going to continue taking anymore, right? So, I mean, Ontario is already on the fourth jab, and we're obviously going after the vulnerable in the care homes. So that's happening, unfortunately. But, with the amount of adverse reports coming out from Australia and England, because they were a little bit ahead of their time in terms of the rollout of the vaccination. I think, in Canada, we're already seeing a huge spike in reports of adverse effects, and it's only going to continue. So I know a lot of people are for the rude awakening, and it's sad, but that's pretty much what has to happen, unfortunately, I guess, right?
So when are we going to be able to travel inside Canada? Any news on that coming?
I don't think so, but I think what people can do is they can drive to drive to the closest border for the States and take a plane from there back to Canada. Why don't people do that and just make a mockery out of that? You literally can drive across the border, jump on a plane there, and then drive to whatever Canadian destination. Imagine we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people doing that. And obviously, when you do land in Canada back, because you need to go to your next province to whatever, visit your family or friends or whatever you had to do, none of the government's stupid business. Imagine we have countless of people showing how ridiculous this is, that you can cross the border by the car or by foot, whatever, and then you'll have to take US airline. You don't even have to wear the mask on the US airline. Obviously, you can take the Canadian airline, but you can take the US one. It might cost you more money. You might have to make more stops than just taking the direct flight. But again, if something is important for you, you'll make it happen. But I think that's what needs to happen, is just to keep exposing the bullshit that we all living in for the last 2 years. And I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary 2 days ago, because that's when I went public on Facebook discussing the whole COVID measures, and that was April 16th of 2020. And obviously the life changed dramatically after that. So
yeah, so as soon as these JCCF get some wins, I think they're going to have to allow us to fly.
But that's not my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stefanos. My understanding, that's going to happen in September. We still have a whole summer, and people should be able to fly at the very minimum within their own country. And Don is asking, how can you cross the border to the States? So you can cross by foot, especially if you have an airline ticket to fly. You can cross the border. You can drive through the border. You can take a taxi through the border, or you can walk. You get somebody to drop you off at the border and just walk across.
So do you have to test to come back into Canada? Apparently, they're not allowed to stop you for any reason, from what I understand.
No, they're gonna continue coercing you with all the bullshit. Jody was discussing yesterday that they can, because she just got back from the States, right? So Jody was in our Wheel Essential Zoom yesterday, and she was discussing they slammed her with several tickets for obviously not consenting to disclose any information about her medical private information, whether she received the popular procedure or not, none of their business. And same thing in terms of doing the test. She said, I'll talk to my lawyer, right?
So she did go public then, right?
Public in terms of what I just said. She refused to disclose her private information. She couldn't go live. She tried, but they kept calling her, the whole bullshit, on the phone with the agents, whatever. And then the cop came in and gave her the tickets, and they were laughing about it because he obviously knew that she's a freedom warrior, and she knows her rights. And everyone knows Jody. She goes around with a binder with all the laws and legislation. Imagine we would have all Canadians to be as empowered and as educated as Jody. This whole thing would have been done a long time ago. And obviously having the backbone that woman has, not many men in this country has the backbone that mighty little lady has. God bless her.
Guys, they're going to tell you you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. Answer these questions. They're not allowed to ask a lot of these questions according to the Constitution.
Guys, like, with all due respect, and I'm not going to pull Chris Sky just yet, but the point is, if people not going to resist now, what are you guys going to do in September, October, when the whole thing's going to come down? I already told you, Trudeau already spent $240 million on a microchip technology. Like, nobody's going to let up. Like, everyone's going to keep plowing through with all this bullshit. Unless we have enough men and women taking a stand and just saying no. And it's United on Compliance. And Jody said when she was traveling across the states, there's a bunch of signs everywhere in terms of masks and jobs, passes, etc. But nobody's doing anything. Nobody's checking anything. Nobody's providing anything. This is all it is. You just ignore it like a bullshit that it is.
Well, even in Mexico, we had some. Remember Robin Benedict?
Sure.
Alan Spencer?
Yeah.
They've been down in Mexico for about 6 months now, and they were on last night. And they said masks are far and few between. Some people do wear them.
Yeah. No,
And
but
the only places they enforce them is at the entrance of the supermarket, and then everyone takes them off anyways.
Yeah, and then I was listening to Jekov, a guy from Alberta that moved to Mexico as well, and he was saying, like, he wanted to take a bus to go to different part of Mexico because it cost me $2 to get on a bus, and then to take an Uber is $50 or a taxi, whatever. But they didn't sell him the ticket because he was not willing to wear the mask. So out of the principle, which I respect the guy, he paid $50 for a taxi to go. Because we can't dilly-dally with this point that maybe I'll comply right now, I'm not going to comply later. That's why we're in this mess, because everybody's keep complying with this stuff and not just saying no. And then yeah.
I don't know about photos. What? Hey, what's your take on what's going on in the Ukraine?
I mean, what's going on in Ukraine is a new world order rolling out, because they needed Ukraine to justify all the food shortages and spiking gas prices and creating the mess that they want to create. It's just a distraction and the reason for them to justify all the things that they're doing. Remember, they used the scamdemic, plandemic to justify all the measures they did for the last 2 years. So now they're using the conflict in Ukraine to justify everything else that's happening around the world. Like, it's ludicrous, and obviously innocent people are always getting slaughtered on both sides. And yes, there are Nazis in Ukraine. They were there forever. Like, it's not anything new. And anything that said they don't exist there is delusional. And again, if people don't know, my grandfather comes from orphanage in Ukraine, and my dad was born in Kiev. So, and I almost lived in Kiev myself, but because of the Chernobyl, I stayed and grew up in Almaty, Kazakhstan, which is a Central Asian Soviet Union at the time. And my grandfather did fight the Nazis all the way to Berlin. So, anyone that thinks that doesn't exist there, again, is just manipulated and brainwashed. Now, is there stuff going on both sides? Of course, it's a freaking war. People die in any war, right? But just to go blatantly and said, all these people that push in this narrative between our criminal government, which it is, and George Soros and the royal family, etc., and how coordinated this propaganda machine is. And if you don't know, people made a good correlation between the Ukrainian flag, which is basically blue and yellow. If you pay attention to all the COVID propaganda for the 2 last years, the 2 main colors present was always yellow and blue. Do you think it's a coincidence? Not. I hope people start paying attention. There's not a single coincidence in anything that happened in at least last 50, 70 years. And and finish up on the conversation of the Nazis. The Nuremberg trial, as much as I promoted myself, Nuremberg trial 2.0, etc., it was a theater because a countless amount of high-ranking Nazi officers and anyone else who was involved with those crazy, horrific sciences, etc. A lot of them moved to South America, to Chile and Argentina, and a lot of them actually end up working for the U.S. government, including NASA, including European Union, including NATO, and including United Nations. They are all neo-Nazis. So when you're talking about the charter from United Nations, and you have a charter in Canada, and how conveniently it is, Section 1, suspends all the freedoms in the charter. And again, if you don't understand the transhumanism and eugenicist agenda is being planned out for at least 100 years, and the U.S. government paid over $500 million, $500 million. It's been shown that the U.S. government paid for fake terrorist movies that they created to promote fear agenda before COVID. As the joke goes, COVID was so amazing it even solved worldwide terrorism problem because that disappeared overnight.
So, Paul, you have that comment up there. Oh, that could be your take, and you're allowed to have it. My take on it, this thing's been brewing for since 2014. They tried to use the Ukraine to impeach Trump, and for the longest time, it kept the people focused on that and this impeachment. Suddenly, Biden's supposed to talk to these guys, and they're all buddy-buddy. Why isn't Biden getting impeached for talking to the same president?
Well, look at the Biden giving a back rub, to Derek. I'm so jealous. Too bad he doesn't have too much hair for the sniffle, but I guess enough.
it's something. He likes it.
I thought he likes little kids though.
Well, maybe
Derek identifies as a little girl tonight. Maybe. What a clown show we live in, honestly, guys. It's insane. But you know what? Honestly, I don't think that the amount of exposure that happened in the last 2 years because of everything that we've been going through, I don't think it would happen any other way. I really don't. Between Disney being completely exposed and now Ron DeSantis is on a roll. The amount of legislation and active engagement that he's doing in the last 2 weeks, especially if you guys not paying attention, he passed a legislation to ensure that nobody's going to be separated from the hospital, etc. So making sure that seniors don't get locked up away from their families. He passed that law. Then he passed a law basically labeled strong fathers, which I'm sure in Canada would have been marked as a toxic masculinity bill, right? In Canada, in Florida, it's called Strong Fathers Bill to basically promote active engagement of fathers in the family and allocating $17 million. That's amazing. Then he basically apparently about to pass, and then he's restructuring the whole education system and making sure that kids actually get proper education and not being played with all this nonsense.
From what you're telling me, they're going to shoot him soon enough.
I hope he stays alive long enough to make a difference, which he already has. And then that's the point. Whatever happens with him, me, you, we started the massive movement. They're not going to be able to get rid of everybody, and that's really where they probably, miscalculated the efforts of the freedom movement, because it's not just me, it's not just, you, Ed, it's not just countless of movements across this country. It's a worldwide movement, and people only going to be joining more and more and more. Nobody's going away. People might be moving to different places, and that's all cool, no problem with that. But there's millions of people that definitely woken up to the truth. And the last thing that they're pushing right now in Florida is to take away tax benefits for the Disney Corporation and actually penalize them. And that's phenomenal. That's called active engagement. So yeah, DeSantis definitely rocks. I mean, again, like a Marty, not going to be again, like I made the piece long time ago. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Look what's coming out about pig farm, Vancouver, Trudeau, so deep. Yeah, I shared this today. Like this is insane. And again, like we said, like Trudeau was implicated with Sherman's death 100%, with Apotex that's did hydroxychloroquine generic version. If you didn't know, apparently they even donated like 2 million doses to Canada and all this stuff. And obviously now apparently he's implicated with this pig farm. They call it Pig Palace. They hosted fundraising events on that pig farm. And then obviously the $2.5 million that he paid to that Rosie girl, the underage schoolgirl that he had an affair with at school. Like the amount of stuff is been unraveling, especially in the last 6 months. And we're not even barely scratching the surface of how deep this whole thing goes. We just have to keep going, guys, and it's gonna get darker, and we just have to keep shining our light and keep standing and doing what we know is right in our heart.
Yeah, actually, April to June was talking about the Picton Pig Farm. So back to the point I was trying to make about the way I read things going on with what's happening in Ukraine.
Yeah.
We know they got to force these food shortages. So how do you do it? You start a war. Every time there's a war, the banks just make money. The look at all the munitions manufacturers.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're handing over all these bombs and guns and rockets and what have you. All these surface to air missiles, whatever. They've got to be replaced. So they're making money. We know the American military. It's the arms manufacturers. That's a big business. That
But
takes up a lot of the American.
No, of course. I mean, that's obvious. But the other reason why they started the war is because, under the pretense of the war, people will accept drastic changes to their life. That's why they do this over and over again. I was listening to a podcast, I think it was on Joe Rogan, somebody was talking about it. This is a standard procedure because people don't like change, right? People don't like drastic changes to their life unless there is a war, and that can be justified. Yeah, so Paul is putting up, so what I'm doing right now is I'm doing my best to empower more people to be active within the local community and become what I call freedom ambassador with Make Canada Free Again. So we have all these different initiatives. So you becoming a freedom ambassador, we'll be promoting these initiatives and helping people, knowing what's going on, unmask them. We have these beautiful cards that's basically redesigned, the exemptions cards that we were doing. So this is the updated version. It says healthy smiles are essential. So the other side is still the 6 points, why it's not just a mask. So this has been distributed across Canada for almost 2 years, almost 500,000 of these cards. But again, because the exemption is not necessary right now in most public places, unless you're in Quebec, healthy smiles are essential. So this is designed to be a positive reinforcement. And what we're doing is we basically giving permission people to take off a mask, and we have in it even this jar that basically says on the jar, dump a mask, get a button, so people can have a exemption button, right? And Paul actually been very successful at helping people trade the masks for the buttons. And imagine again, we have people walking around the city, just a couple of buttons in your pocket, and if you can commit to just unmasking 2 people a day, just around whatever you're going on. Just when you see somebody in a mask, just say like, why are you wearing a mask? Do you know you can trade the mask for the button, and then you can just wear this and nobody gonna harass you, or at least it's not gonna happen as much as you think it might. And why would you like to do this? And you give people an opportunity, right? So if you're in Toronto area or in Vancouver area, we have a bunch of these exemption buttons, so you can get in touch with us and roll this out. But more than anything, just being mindful of the time. I know you have Christine Nagel coming up, I think, right? Soon.
Yeah, another 15 minutes we're expecting her in, so you still got
Yeah.
some time.
Yeah. So I want to touch base on what I caught up the end of conversation of what you guys were talking when I joined in terms of the elections and political options, etc. I mean, the reality is nobody really knows 100% if the efforts that we're doing will bear fruit. However, not doing anything, the outcomes definitely will be a no. And if you are involved and at least you're giving it a chance, and you obviously have to spend some time, energy, and money, but the price, so-called, you have to pay is minimal. but the outcome potentially can be significant, it's still worth it. So having said that, in terms of the leadership campaign for the Conservative Party right now, I think it's significant for us to get involved. Why not? Because if we don't get involved, things gonna get accomplished anyway, because the agenda people, establishment elites, whatever you want to call them, they have a specific plan rolling out. So if we're putting zero opposition to that, then it's just going to happen for sure. And if we are involved and we're putting some efforts, at least directing it in a way we think it should, there's a chance that can be successful. And if it's not, then we still keep doing the work that we've been doing. But I come from the place of I will exhaust any possible chance I can to make an impact. And if selecting a leader for the Conservative Party that I think can be instrumental for us to gain the freedom, and for me that person is Roman Baber. So if people are interested to join Roman Baber, who's been outspoken since January 21, and he did pay the price to be ousted from Ford government, where he actually had a good position, and he's been outspoken ever since, way before any other candidates for the Conservative Leadership Party. That's why Roman has my vote. Yes, Pierre has been very articulate and great at roasting Justin Trudeau in general in terms of his policy, but he was quiet about all the infringement on our freedoms until truckers rolled into town in Ottawa, and that kind of became more acceptable and more popular, right? So
that's another point I wanted to hit on. So back to Ukraine. Why did Ukraine come out in the second week of the truckers rally in Ottawa? Meanwhile, there's trucker rallies all over the world starting, and then suddenly, boom, the war fires up. You think that's coincidence? No. They knew. This was worldwide. There was every country had trucker rallies, trucker strikes.
And overnight, the Canadian flag that was waving all around the world got replaced with Ukrainian flag. Do you think it's a coincidence? Of course not, right? For the first time, Canadian flag actually stand for freedom around the world, and that was a significant thing.
So where can people get these buttons?
So the buttons, you guys can pick it up. We have a booth at Downseer Merchant Flea Market, which is on Shepherd, just west of Allen Road. So you can come and pick up the cards and the buttons there. You can do that on Saturday after 10 a.m. We're usually there sometime after 10. We open it up and we stay till 5. So you can do that either on Saturday or Sunday, as well as if you want to pick up some of the hats or T-shirts or hoodies, whatever we have, the signs. Everything is available to pick up there. I'm there before people make, amazing comments, making money over fist, selling lots of stuff there. I'm not. We're just there to give out the cards. I think in total for the last 3 weeks, I think we sold like maybe, 4 or 5 items. But that's not the point. The point is we're there. We engage with the people that are outside of the usual crowd that comes to the Dundas Square or the Queen's Park. And I wanted to kind of test, the water, so to speak, being engaged with people. So again, I'm not going to be at the Dundas Square. If people want to come and pick up the cards, the buttons, or anything else they like, it's Downseer Merchant Flea Market. Thank you, Yaroslav. Which is on Shepherd. And by the way, that's a great place to come and buy all your veggies, guys. If you want really best price for your fruits and veggies, there's no better place than come there on a weekend and just stock up. Because they sell things like super cheap, and then you can just buy the cases, whatever, mangoes, berries, salads, a bunch of vegetables. They have a really, really big market there for produce.
I like this comment.
Yeah, and that's it, guys. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's simple enough that we can unmask one person at a time. And again, as long as each of us take a personal responsibility for restoring freedom and truth in our community, and again, you don't have to do a lot. Just commit to like 2 people a day, even 1 person a day, and you can do it around your regular activities that you're doing. You can, if you do 2 people a day and you do it 5 days a week, you can unmask 10 people a week. And now if you have, 100 people doing that across the city of Toronto, well, guess what? You can unmask 1,000 people a week as a team. Just keep doing that, guys. So yeah, in terms of the Ukraine, I don't think it's gonna end anytime soon. Unfortunately, again, a lot of innocent people already got killed, and a lot more will suffer, and that's the casualty of the war. And not to disregard the loss of life and suffering that's happening there. However, what about what's going on in your own home? You know, the genocide that took place in the last 2 years, and you've been complicit or even, unfortunately, you know, maybe even forced or coerced some of your family members and especially your own kids to go with this completely horrific procedure, and now, you know, what are you going to do? So having said that, there's a site that's going to be launched soon. It's going to be to provide more resources for people that did receive the jab, obviously being coerced into it. So there's a lot of resources going to be available to either find help for people to manage whatever is going on with them physically, as well as to figure out a process of you know, finding justice for you in terms of whatever is going on with you or some of the family members that you might have.
What else we got here? So is this the proper address for the
40 Coral Hall Road, North York, Ontario. Yes, correct. By the way, if you don't drive, it's very convenient because the subway stop is literally right in front of the market. So if you take a subway, University line, you would exit at the Downsview Park subway station, which is the next one after the Shepherd West, which was the former Downsview station. So it's very convenient to get there by subway, as well as if you want to drive, you know, obviously parking is there. And come by, say hello to me, to Paul. Again, pick up the carts, pick up the stocks like we did back in the day, and just distribute them everywhere. Engage with people as much as possible. Pick up the buttons. This is the new buttons that we have as well. Freedom of choice. We are all essential. So you can pick up those things. Again, if you like the hats, the toques, the hoodies, the t-shirts. We also have, I print up this bag too, actually. Let me show you.
Vlad will be right back in a second, guys.
So this is a bag. It's a very nice backpack. You can put straps in, and it can be a bag if you want, or a backpack. So very high quality embroiderment. If people know, I usually like to get quality things. So yeah.
So for people that don't live in the GTA, for a small donation or something, can you ship out some buttons or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no problem. Definitely connect with us, and we can send you some buttons. Paul already put them like on a sheet of paper that we can just put them in the envelope, and we can send them 20 buttons to you. So if you want to do that, you can email us at hugsovermasks@gmail.com. hugsovermasks@gmail.com. You can request your buttons. You know, for small donation, we can get you some for sure, so you can get people unmasked in your local communities.
Can you type that in the private chat and I'll put it up on the bottom?
Sure.
So actually, you had that. Derek, put that up again. So whereabouts?
So that big, massive building, there on this one right here, that should be it.
No, that's the airport. That's the airplane hangar, isn't it? No, it's not.
No, that's it.
Was it outside or is it inside or?
Oh, this is a big like a warehouse building, right?
So where's the bus stop or the subway
The
stop?
subway station. It's right off of Shepherd, man. You're not gonna get lost. It's literally on Shepherd between Allen Road and Kiel, closer to Allen Road.
Okay, and that That subway stop is called what?
It's called Downsview Park.
It is called Downsview Park. Okay.
Yep.
So it's not the Shepherd Station then.
Shepherd West, and then the next going north is Downsview Park. Yes.
Right on.
Yep.
Hugsovermasks@gmail.com. Is that it?
Correct.
MADKS? No, not
Karen.
that one.
I put it in a private chat. Copy and paste from the private chat.
Alrighty. Banners.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm quicker than you, Ed.
Yeah, you are.
It must be that Russian hat that you're wearing. It gives you extra powers.
Is that a Russian hat or what?
Yeah, superpowers.
Yeah, it is. It has like a Russian, what do you call it?
Did it last time. KGB or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know what this means. I was up for a posting to Downsview Park. I stayed in Cold Lake instead. Laugh out loud. Well, Cold Lake, I believe, is a military base, isn't it, for fighter jet training?
Yep.
Good to know, Paul.
He's
Do
joking.
you remember Paul? He's a shorter gentleman. He's got a big gray mustache, comes down like this. He was instrumental in getting me it's kind of funny. Last fall we did a march from Finch and Young down to Shepherd and Young, and then we were protesting in front of an MPP in a city councilor's office. And just as we were leaving, Paul goes and sticks one of our signs up that says, the pandemic was planned. Prove me wrong or something like that. 3 hours later, the cops are knocking at my door saying, we got reports of you driving erratically. We'd like you to blow a breathalyzer. 4 cruisers.
Wow.
5 cop cars for little old me. So thanks for that, Paul. That was fun.
They like you. They like you lots and lots. Anyway, yeah, so guys, we just have to keep going, keep doing what we can. A lot of people are organizing. I would definitely recommend connect to some local farmers. Make sure you have a relationship for getting food is important. Make sure you know how to make bread. Make sure you stock up at least on some flour and everything else to make bread. Yeah, this is happening. The new bill passed that affects parental rights in Quebec. But that's nothing new. I mean, this has pretty much been happening across the country. If you don't know, in Ontario, God forbid, if your child is diagnosed with cancer and you're not willing to go with the treatment that the hospital is recommending or forcing, they can actually just bypass your decision or even your own child and just do it anyway. So this is, again, nothing new. It's already here. But obviously it's bringing in more attention, and that's what we need. People need to be educated that the government is doing everything that they can to have ultimate control over our lives. And again, children are definitely the ultimate goal for them. Adults, they have enough that are compliant already. So yeah, the agenda is 2030. So get involved any way you can.
So one more thing, like I know we're posting a lot of doom and gloom. We're fighting. One thing we got to consider, guys, a lot of our friends and associates that have been jabbed, they'll no longer be with us. A lot of the left has been jabbed. They'll no longer be with us in a few years. This is a great opportunity to create the Canada we want. So start thinking about that. And if you start thinking in something, or if you push your focus that way, usually slowly it will occur. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, I mean, the point is, if we don't get involved and if we don't do anything, well, then nothing's going to happen at all. Like, do you really think that everything that's been kind of winning in the States, do you think it just happened? No, a lot of people took a lot of action, and fortunately for US, they still have, some transparency and legitimacy in their judicial system and the political structure. Canada is definitely far gone for sure. But does that mean that we shouldn't even bother trying to win this war? No, you just have to work harder, and it's a guerrilla warfare. So we have to use whatever resources available to us, and we have to be creative and strategic, and we just have to keep going. The point is, we have three choices: either give up, give in, or give it all, right? So I choose to give it all, and a lot of people joined us in the last 2 years. So why would you want to stop now?
Man, that printing is pretty rough, Derek.
Yeah, the font is not good.
Yeah. So, you just can't encourage people. Like, every little bit helps, and if you're shy, like, don't be shy. What do you got to lose except for your freedom? And that's a big one.
No, it's massive for sure, and the reality is, the younger generation, they have no concept of freedom to begin with. That's why it's so easy to control and manipulate them, because they were really never free as free as myself, or people similar generation or coming from different countries, because we didn't really have that much control and oversight on our lives, and we were not so connected with technology, etc., right? So we had a lot more freedom, where the current generation is not even comprehending the concept of that, right? That's unfortunately for us, but it doesn't mean, again, that we shouldn't even bother doing what we can to give them perspective, right? That's why the separation of a young and old it was one of the strategic move on the government side, because if the young people would talk to their grandparents would tell them that this is definitely wrong, and you should think twice before complying with this government, right? So
I'm just going to put a quick call into Kristen.
Sure. And then Kristen is a great example of somebody being extremely proactive and obviously representing the true healthcare system. And she's launching. I'm not gonna give it away completely, but she's about to launch stuff today for you guys, and you'll see, and it's great. And she's one of the amazing people that being proactive and taking real initiatives, and that's what we need to do. We just have to keep moving forward, keep creating positive things, and directing our attention on creation rather than a war, even within our own government, which declared war on us. But again, that's nothing new. It's just now it's been all exposed. Children were suffering before COVID. It's just, since 2020, everything came to a bigger light for us to see. So,
did you ever hear of kids having heart attacks before COVID?
Well, I mean, it's a conspiracy theory. Come on, and all the athletes dropping down on the fields all over the place. But again, this is what I'm saying. Before 2020, myself and Kristen and a few other people, we were definitely a minority of our views on the corruption and criminality of big pharma. And now the amount of people that woke up to what's happening, and a lot more will wake up because of, hey, Kristen, because of the kids will be suffering, unfortunately. So those parents gonna greatly regret the choices that they made for their children. But again, most of them didn't know anything. Right? So for us, it's just we know that we're on the right side, not to be obnoxious about it, but just understanding we stand in truth, and we have to be compassionate, because most people got duped and manipulated, and we just have to offer them support and help any way we can, because we are all on this together, like we are, not the elites and politicians, etc. But we have resources with manpower, and we're creative, and we're compassionate, and we come from love, and we definitely know what's at stake, and it's future of all the kids, and we'll do what it takes to make sure that they have a better future than we have.
So just one more piece of advice to everybody, even Vlad and Kristen. Don't be offended, but here's the thing. Remember that story, The Emperor Has No Clothes? So everyone's bought into all this BS about the masks and the jabs and the virus and all this crap. If more and more people start standing up and taking the stand that this is the accepted norm. And if you're still wearing a mask, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Don't you know what's going on? Then people start to think, well, And if more and more people start saying this, it will be accepted as the truth, which it should be, because it is the truth. And this all follows back to nobody would call out the emperor for wearing no clothes. But then took one little girl to say, hey, he's not wearing any clothes. But if we all say, the jab, it's all BS, it's killing people, the evidence is out there, don't you spend any time looking behind the scenes? Why are you still buying the propaganda? And speak to people like that is our truth. This thing will take off a lot quicker, and we can beat this thing. We can beat them at their own game, because all they've got on us is propaganda. I just had to get that out there, guys.
No problem, Ed. It's a little bit deeper though. The fear is a virus, right? And fear is what driving most people's decisions and choices, right? And it's so deep and it's so ingrained. And the other psychological warfare that they did on people, especially in the Western world in the last, probably 3 decades, is to condition everybody to seek comfort in any area of their lives. So when you have to stand up and just say no and then even question what's going on and being thrown at you, that's uncomfortable. And for a lot of people, it's literally going against their nature because they've been conditioned to be comfortable all their lives. So that's, the fear and seeking comfort, to me, is probably the 2 main challenges that we need to overcome. How we help people snap out of that fear, as well as empower them to be uncomfortable and to be okay to be uncomfortable and actually seek comfort and become better because of that process, which is all life that is just overcoming obstacles and growing. When you put a seed in the ground, it has to go for a lot of obstacles to go up, So anyway, I don't want to take any more time. Kristen, so good to see you. I saw you on the leadership call, and I'm excited for the project that you're going to be rolling out, and let me know if there's any way I can support and help you guys out.
Oh, thank you so much.
Talk about planting a seed. Kristen's got an announcement to make for us.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's been, it seems like it has been a long time in the works. I feel we've been talking about this since September, October. Well, literally the whole time we've been speaking out about creating a new framework for health. But we've been talking about this website since the fall, and it is finally launched, and it is real, and it is here. So Canadian Frontline Nurses have launched our new website. It's the same website, CanadianFrontlineNurses.ca, but whole new revamped website to connect nurses with the public. It's called Connecting Communities with Care, and it's nurses, that are forward thinking, have more natural approach, that are leaving conventional nursing behind, and want to connect, privately and one-on-one with public. So we're trying to get care back into the homes, take out, the expensive buildings, brick and mortar, even like the hospitals, like the middleman, and just go directly into people's homes from birth to palliative and everything in between. We have seen the powers that can happen when this is done. We are all healers. We're all nurturers. That has been stripped from us to make us think that we're victims and we don't know how to care for one another, but we do. So we're here to help make those connections, and the nurses are there to help the individual to feel empowered in their health journey, because we're not here to treat, cure, or heal. The only person that can do that is the individual, and we want to encourage them to become active participants in their health journey. So that is what we're here. So it is all kind of private membership. We are trying to protect the nurses that want to be on this database. So it is a paid membership site to go in. So you're go into this like private page to find a nurse across Canada. We're hoping that there'll be a nurse in every geographical place, but we'll have to give us time. If a nurse is not in your area, then, and if it can just be a Zoom call or something like that, that is an option as well. But we're hoping this is just the start to help bring people to the same place. So to start collecting everyone that wants to move forward, be forward thinking and solution oriented, and think of a new framework, and leaving all the corrupted conventional systems behind. So this is just the start. And we're excited to see where it's going to take us.
So, have you started populating the website with nurses right now, or?
Yeah, there's many on there.
So, if someone goes there and say they need someone for, say, nighttime care for an elderly person, is that a resort? Like, is there a nurse that could you can contact to see to fill that spot, or?
Yeah, if that nurse is in that area, depending on where the individual lives. Some nurses are willing to drive an hour or so, depending on the shift. But we have helped out several people with at-home care. So nurses are driving to the individual's home, doing care at the home, night shifts, day shifts, and whatever that might be, helping with lifts, basically full care in the home with stroke individuals and other elderly care needing help. So that is happening in the homes with nurses as well. There's a lot of nurses that are in a traditional birth attendant course as well to learn how to be traditional midwives, not the modern midwives that they have become, unfortunately. So there's a lot of nurses that are learning to become traditional birth attendants, which is amazing. We also have a course that should be starting in the next month to become a patient advocate. So you can advocate for patients in the hospital as well. So there are a lot of options there. And there are a lot of Alberta nurses too. I see the comment down there.
You know, patient advocacy, that's a huge one. I don't think you realize how big of a service that is.
Yeah, it's huge right now. It's needed. Yeah.
Like, I had an aunt that passed away actually it was last year, 2021. And she slipped through the system. She wasn't getting the care as fast as she should have been. Came up with cancer, and things just waited and waited and waited, and they weren't proactive about getting the proper treatment in our Ontario medical system. And she's gone now. I'm thinking if she would have had a nurse, like, I had no idea that they were getting these kind of delays. I would have stepped forward myself because I've been through it and I've seen the crap that comes. And I had a knee surgery that was delayed by a year and a half, and I had to threaten my orthopedic surgeon that I was going to go to India if I didn't get the surgery within the next month. And he thought I was kidding. I says, no, if you don't book me today, I'm gone in 2 weeks. And he really thought I was kidding. He says, no, I've had enough. You know, I've been waiting for this knee surgery for over a year, and it's just nonsense. And that's what someone advocating for someone's health care. Now, if you think some people I'm a little bit more bold than most people, so I'll go that extra mile and I'll push the limits. And you know, what the hell? I pay taxes for most of my adult life, and now that I need it, I'm not getting the health care I need. Like, it's BS.
It is BS. And that will be another battle that we eventually have once this database grows and we kind of get our bearings, because I think we're going to have a lot of, challenges that arise. It's new, a lot of learning curves and things like that. But definitely one of the battles that we're going to face is funding, because at-home care at this time is out of pocket, and can be very expensive depending on the amount of care that's needed. So it is trying to figure out, like, well, if I'm not accepted into the hospital due to, a medical decision I made for myself, if I'm not allowed, specific care, or if it's a choice that I do not want allopathic conventional medicine, what are my taxes going towards? Right? Like, if I don't get any benefit out of them, like, it's all of it, like homeschool my kids, I don't want to go near a hospital, I don't want to do any of these things that my taxes are going towards. How do we refunnel them? So I know there's some nurses that are fighting this currently, but it will definitely be a battle that we will face, because we need to figure out how to make this feasible for everyone.
Well, even a nurse that's overseeing a person's medical treatments would be able to say, you know what, you're allowed X amount of dollars for home care, so much a week. I'm sure they know about the various programs that are going on. And I'm sure you guys are going to be teaching your nurses what's out there, what's available. And this is stuff that's not known by the public, quite frankly. And they can push the envelope and get the doctor to say, please prescribe, say, physiotherapy at home, or do this at home, or do that at home. just the paperwork hurdles can be quite. You can be missing out on a lot of healthcare if you don't have someone looking out for your best interests.
Well,
So I think
yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
the services you guys are going to provide, I think it's going to be huge, like just massive.
I hope so. Some of it's already in the works right now, and it's proving to be just completely essential. Like it's life changing to some of the people that the care is being provided for. So I'm hoping, that this is just the start. But it is true. Like with a doctor's order, if the nurse is still registered, there is ways that OHIP and things or insurance, private insurance even, will cover a nurse at home with the proper order from a doctor. So those are definitely things we'll be looking at as well to see, if insurance and things like that will cover the nursing care, because that's huge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what else can the nurses do for people?
Well, there'll be, nutritional consults. There'll be, pediatric, a lot mental health. So Sarah has started up her Lighting Up Dark Corners initiative. So Sarah is the other co-founder of Canadian Frontline Nurses. She's a huge advocate for mental health. She has started several programs already for that. Some online that are free, like Healing Your Childhood Trauma 101, and several other mental health events that she has going on. She's partnered with Huff Gym. So if you are local around that area, she does a lot at Huff Gym as well. So mental health will be huge. Even just chronic pain, different chronic illnesses, lifestyle illnesses. There'll be a lot of one-on-one kind of coaching and help in the home too. I'm going to say there's at this time no emergency. So that is still one thing I advocate for, emergency trauma. I still promote the hospital. It's good for one thing. But we're not there yet.
How about nutritional coaching?
There's definitely going to be nutritional coaches. There's a lot of holistic nutritionists, that have, spent a lot of time around food and helping people with that. That is also one of the benefits of being able to go into the individual's home, is because you can do pantry makeovers or, assess the kitchens, look at food journals or look at eating habits. And, even I think which will be huge is hopefully, even teaching cooking skills. There's so many people that don't even know how to cook a basic meal. So I think there's a lot that can happen, within the home, creating these relationships and hopefully, teaching these skills that the individual can carry on themselves and continue to learn more of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a need for that too. Again, I've been teaching my uncle because his wife did pass away how to cook. And one of your own nurses actually gave me basic instructions on how to make a mushroom cream sauce.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I didn't even have to pay for it.
That's perfect. No, but that'll be huge. That is something I wanted to do before March 2020 came. I was looking at starting, some basic cooking classes, like healthy eating on a budget, pantry makeovers, like just things, easy swaps that are not expensive, that you can keep in your home. Like food is the cornerstone for health and, the kitchen. So I think there's going to be a lot of benefit there to being able to get into one's home, to be able to teach and offer that. But we have cannabis nurses, that has learned the medicinal and therapeutic uses of cannabis. We have pain coaches. We have, some nurses in BC doing amazing things with German new medicine and other natural approaches. So it's going to be amazing to have this space to allow nurses to flourish and thrive and shine in their expertise, because I feel in the conventional world, it was stifled before. You weren't really allowed to do all these things. So now they're going to be able to come into their own light. Like we have a lot of homeopathy nurses, herbal nurses, energy healers. I don't know. I think it's going to be so neat.
Speaking about herbal, I'm drinking chaga tea, guys, not coffee.
Oh, nice. I love chaga tea.
So, and I take just a little bit of honey. It's amazing how chaga, it takes almost no honey to sweeten it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Natural honey, make sure it's unpasteurized. Raw local honey. And if it's made an hour within where you are, it's great for allergy season. Mm-hmm.
No, that would be bee.
Pollen is great too, like the bee pollen, but local honey helps with that too. Yeah.
Bee pollen within an hour. And guys, just take a little bit, just in case you're allergic to bee stings or that. And then you work your way up to a teaspoon within 2 weeks. And it actually does work for allergies because I suffered with allergies for 50 years until I found bee pollen. Actually, 40 years. And I hardly have any allergies left anymore. So, Karen, what would you say for Karen, for her sister? Should she register with your website?
At this time, we're just growing our nursing database, but we definitely hope to expand and cover a wide range of health professionals. But at this time, we're just starting with the nurses again, because I think we're going to have a lot of learning curves and things to figure out. So it's just a start. So bear with us as we grow. But it's awesome to know there's other people out there.
Not chugging, it's chaga.
Chaga. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, so I don't know. We're gonna host a nursing conference, I think at the end of May, where it'll be an opportunity for nurses to come in and learn and kind of showcase themselves to teach. So we're just started talking about that today. So I don't really have many more to share on that, just that it's in the works, and I don't know, hopefully it'll come together pretty quickly. And see, I don't know. There's a lot of conferences I used to go to. Oh, echoing. Oh, yeah. Oh, geez. That's awesome. Where'd you get that from? Do you have a tree that you cut it down from? Or you're muted or something, Ed.
Barry Prince shipped this to me. He's got a friend that harvests this up in the Yukon.
That's awesome. That's a big chunk of chaga. That would be so expensive.
It was about $40 shipped.
That's awesome.
And that's only half of it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. And the farther north it comes, the better quality it is. And they harvested it only in the winter, and they cut down less than half of the mushroom.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I want some. We'll get a hold of Barry Prince. I'm sure he can ship you some.
Okay, thanks. I'm on it. Yeah. But I don't know. These are the conversations that I hope will be more people start having too. Because like it's been 2 years talking about a nonsense thing that doesn't exist and nothing about how to improve your health. So that's what we're here for, is just to kind of help educate. We'll be running webinars, having special guest speakers that will be up on the private membership site. So people will be able to watch these webinars and, just get more education and knowledge and continue to, learn how to take back responsibility of their health.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a room with people that have been jabbed?
Oh, most likely.
Do you ever get headaches or itchy eyes?
Not that I noticed.
Okay. So I'm noticing if I'm around people that are jabbed, I'll usually get a little headache. And my eyes will go itchy.
I haven't really noticed anything, but maybe because I don't think about it, or I'm not sure. I don't think about it. It's one thing I don't allow myself to think about.
So that being said, there's been a bunch of information coming out on the internet that even people that are not jabbed, we should be taking ivermectin, and even people that are jabbed and they're starting to suffer from symptoms, they should also be taking ivermectin. Do you have access to ivermectin, or do I got to keep using this stuff?
The Bimectin. I do not. Okay, so this is my own personal stance. There's many other nurses and people out there that have their own. I do not believe in ivermectin because it's another pharmaceutical made by Merck. I do not like giving any pharmaceutical companies money that I do not have to. So there's other things that can be used to help people There's plants, there's there's food. There's just so many other things out there than having to give a pharmaceutical company money. And I know ivermectin has saved people's lives, and I understand people swear by it. That's why I said this is my own personal stance. I do not go near it.
Ed might forget that. Yay! You gotta be easy with that stuff, Ed.
I think you're taking too much, Derek.
But there's a homopathy. It's called Bio 93. That's supposed to help with your lymphatic system and anything with that as well. There's tons of different loose leaf teas or herbal medicines or tinctures. And wormwood is a parasitic that people can use. It's a plant that you can just grow in your backyard. It's quite potent. Black walnut, very potent as well. I think it's cumin seed oil or extract. There's so many plant and food options out there, and those are always my go-tos. Mm-hmm.
So, do you know if there's something that can counteract these spike proteins in the natural world?
There's a lot of talk of the pine needles. There's the Bio 93 I was talking about, but this is my take on it, that if you are fully taking care of yourself, so your mindset is strong, you're fueling your mind with positive thoughts, you're strengthening your mind with positive energy, and just not giving that negative attention out there. There's things out there that could be harming you. Okay. So mind over matter, super important. You're fueling your body with high vibrational foods, real foods that are touched by the sun. You're making your own foods, eating the rainbow, getting all the nutrition you need. You're staying hydrated with your teas. I say that with your loose leaf teas and, whatever fermented foods, all the good stuff. You're exercising, you're joyful, you're happy. I just don't even think about those things. But again, that's just me.
So I'm going to put your new website at the bottom of our page so people can find it easier. So it's Canadian Frontline Nurses Plural.ca, right?
.ca, yep, exactly.
Okay. I don't know why Derek keeps putting the weather reports out.
I don't know, but Whitehorse is warmer than here.
Because people talk about their weather and they got talking in the comments a little more. It's a great conversation.
Canadian Frontline
Nurses.ca. Oh, now I'm all distracted about the weather. We got 2 days of snow. I'm over it. But I think it's been a lot, right? The last 2 years, no matter what side of the spectrum you have been on, whether you've been on the freedom side or the other side, there can be a lot of fear. Fear of what's coming with the government, fear of, the spike proteins. No matter what side you've been on, there's been a lot of fear pushed at us. And I think it's really important to kind of step away, for a bit and give yourself a break and find, things that do bring you joy. And remember, that the world is still a beautiful place amongst the chaos and amongst all the corruption and craziness, and to take those moments and really allow yourself to be present in those, and the beauty that still goes on around us. Because otherwise, the continued fear of even wondering about what's going on with the governments or these spike proteins or all these things going around outside of our control will completely wear you down and weaken your immune system. And if you worry about it or think it too much, you can think things into existence. So I don't know. I think it's really important to not give some things too much attention.
Yeah, you can think things into existence. I agree with you. You can think in a better Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do this, people.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. So I don't know. I'm just ready to move forward. I feel it's been a long 2 years of fighting this. Ottawa was like the epitome. It was absolutely amazing. I feel now we have a responsibility to take that feeling that we had in Ottawa and bring it back to our homes and our communities. And it's time to start creating. There's always going to be something. Like there's always going to be something in the school system that we disagree with, or that's trying to, corrupt our children. There's always going to be something in healthcare, the hospitals, not changing, never going to change. Like all these things, we can fight them until who knows. But I think the best solution is to start moving forward and helping, parents find other options for their kids, like leaning on one another. Parents helping parents, setting up a little co-op or taking turns, learning pods, different schools, 4 schools, whatever. And that's the same thing what we're doing with healthcare, with health and wellness, with this new framework. And again, this is just the start, to start collecting people, to see who's ready to move forward, and then continue to create towards this new earth that we're moving towards, whatever you want to call it, this new earth, this new world, this new reality.
Yeah. So anyone that's watching, if you've got your private groups set up, your neighborhood groups, well, here's a source for medical information. Find out who your nurse is or nurses are in your local neighborhood and invite them into your alternative group.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of communities that are starting to organize, and some are actually getting huge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to need some nurses, and just like nurses would need resources from the farmers or the mechanics or the carpenters or the roofers, bricklayers, whatever have you. It's going to be an alternative. It's going to be an alternative community, kind of like the Hutterites and the and other people are doing. And we can make a better country at the end.
Yeah, no, it's going to be amazing. And we're going to totally be like bartering and sharing our skills and resources and working with our hands and helping one another. And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. So, now's the time, to learn how to plant some gardens, or, whether it's herbs, some vegetables, or have some friends do a community one together. We're fortunate that we have a group of us that have a big community plot that we started last year that we're going to continue to grow on this year. There's a group of us, we get together, we learn how to, do our breads, pressure canning, the water baths, make your soaps. We got a muscle fat from a cow muscle fat, tallow. We rendered that down to cook with because it's super cheap. So we have that to cook with, and then you can turn it into soaps and other stuff. But I don't know. I think it's like getting back to some foundational skills and learning with one another. This is where I'm at anyways.
It's interesting. Every fall, actually twice a year, Dad used to go to the butcher and bring back a big slab of back bacon. And us kids were cutting it into little 3/8 by 3/8 inch cubes. And then this would go in the oven. Mom would roast it for hours. And then got poured into jars. And that's what we used for cooking eggs on. It never went bad.
It doesn't.
Amazing. And they say saturated fats are saturated fats, like pork fat, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's just like most animal fats are all saturated fats. Yeah.
Well, everybody was skinny 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah, and it was real, like real food.
Yeah.
Before they started processing it and chemicalized. Yeah.
And this is what you used before refrigeration. Probably for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gone margarine, which is one molecule away from plastic.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Like, really?
No.
So,
No, and this is the thing that you get to like honor the whole animal, right? And it's so cheap. And people are worried about the cost of all these things going up, but this is a way to be cost effective as well. So like we got 6 pounds of the tallow. Not suet. Suet is the fat around the kidneys, and apparently it's not as nice for whatever reason for soaps or salves. But that was the other thing we made. We started making healing salves, like creams. So creams, soaps, and then you have the tallow to also cook in, like you said. But this is what I'm interested in. How can we make the most out of the things around us and start making some of our own goods and things, like learning these old skills?
Yeah, instead of watching TV and rotting your mind, do something
Mm-hmm.
and save some money.
Exactly, and save money for sure.
And come this fall, when we've got hyperinflation and food shortages, your phone is going to be ringing off the hook.
I know. I was just looking at that. It was on my table, but in my book I've just been using my Preserving Everything. It's called, and it's all these different methods of how to preserve your food. Because once you have your garden and all the things start coming in, you have to learn how to harvest it and store it. So that's going to be huge this year. And then my other favorite book for right now, for people wanting to get into foraging, because that's I love it. Foraging's my thing. Wild Remedies. It's also going to be super important. So then, like, what is nature providing for us? Nature provides us with everything we need. Right now, it's chickweed, garlic mustard, ramp season. Ramps are wild leeks. I just picked several of those and made an amazing soup out of it. Ramps, and then wild garlic. Garlic mustard and wild garlic are different. But yeah, all these things are coming up right now.
You're harvesting this stuff right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to shoot us a video.
Okay, I have some on my Instagram.
Okay, can I rebroadcast those?
Right now? I don't know.
Not right now.
I think, okay, yeah, of course, yeah.
Because we've been doing a few shows on, sprouting seeds and grains and salads with Angela Argentina. And Eva, if you're watching, I'm still going to get out the kitchen one day and actually learn from you how to bottle beef or preserve beef in bottles. Because refrigeration just doesn't cut it.
No.
And apparently you don't get freezer burn when you bottle the beef, and it actually tastes better, like years down the road.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So again, if you don't have to use refrigeration, think of how much money you save on hydro.
Yeah.
And it's secure, and you can transfer it. You can take it with you. Can't take a whole freezer with you, can you?
No. And when the powers go out, then what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, let's hope it doesn't. But the way things are going, if you can't afford to pay your hydro bill, the power might go out and won't be your choice.
I don't know, but this stuff is super exciting, and it's another way to get you less reliant on, whatever else. And that's what we need to move towards, is how to be self-reliant, but with a community, because there's absolutely no way that we're meant to do all of this alone and that we're meant to know all the things. We're supposed to share our knowledge, share our skills, and do this together. So when we do it with a group of 5 or more, and it's so much faster. And then we split up, the harvest and the cans, and it's incredible.
Well, if you look back 150 years ago, you had in the village, you had one guy used to do the tanning. You used to have a butcher.
Yeah.
You used to have the farmer that used to raise the animals. You had the blacksmith that kept the hardware for all the animals and the plows going. Like everybody, we were interdependent, and this is what got society to where we are today. The fact that they're bringing this crap down on us, wiping out the economy, this is happening. Can we stop it? I doubt it. In the short while, I doubt it. This is going to come down. And you look at what's going on in Ukraine. There's going to be food shortages. Fertilizer, which is necessary to feed the whole world, the exports from Ukraine are going to be cut by 20%. Russia, if they put an embargo on them, they export about 12% of the world's demand for fertilizer. You don't think the price of food is going to go sky high? Look at the price of fuel. That's inflationary. Have your wages doubled this year?
Me? For my non-existent wages? Or from what?
Okay, how about people in the chat there? Has anyone wages doubled this year except for the RCMP?
Yeah.
They're the only ones, the politicians that got raises. So, we're going to have to learn to rely on our communities, which is why we had Scotty on last week, and he was talking about organizing your communities. There's people that are awake to what's going on. Just got to find them, guys, and it's easy. See a Canadian flag, start a conversation, see what happens.
Absolutely. I'm loving what's happening in the chat. There's a ton of people all over this. It's amazing. I'm fairly new to a lot of the canning and food preserving. I was doing foraging several years before and getting into my herbs, but now I'm starting to kind of, learn more on how to store them and to make things. My tinctures and medicinals and all the salves and the creams, but I'm loving seeing what everyone's up to. Like all these self-reliant people.
Have you tried comfrey?
I love comfrey. Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you eat it? Do you eat it, or do you make tinctures out of it, or what do you do with it?
It's like an amazing composter and fertilizer, but you can make it's like the bone healer. So it's great to have some on hand because like you just use it as a compress. I want to say, is it called the bone breaker or something like that? It's amazing for healing the body. Comfrey.
Yes. So ligaments, muscles, and bones, huge. Speeds up healing. And I've given it to friends to salve, and they're just amazing. And there's, a surgeon goes, a buddy of mine broke his leg skiing, not his leg, it was part of his ankle, it chipped off. And they were amazed that the guy healed up as quick as they did.
Yeah.
He said, we figured you wouldn't be walking for 3 months, and here you are after 8 weeks, and you're almost back to normal. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
So it does work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I've used it a few times on myself, sprains and stuff.
It's amazing what's out there and how powerful some of this stuff is, right? And that's why pharmaceuticals are based off of these plants, because they know they work and it's effective, and it's a way to make their own synthetic version to make money off of it. But the plant's already there with everything that we need.
You want access to moose? Go north. They're all over Canada, pretty much. And
There's
do
a
not
update
say
on
no.
that I just found.
Yeah, never say no to elk. Elk is awesome.
Elk is very good.
Go with me and shoot a moose. I don't shoot a moose every year. Every third or fourth year, I'll get it, one or two.
That's crazy. That'd be a lot of meat.
Get split up amongst 4 or 5 guys. So
yes, I'll be taking a moose this fall. I don't know. I'm reading the comments. Sorry, they're entertaining. But no, I don't know. I'm excited, and I hope that with starting this database and hopefully bringing a place where people can connect and find like-minded nurses in care. Hopefully that will be a way to grow community as well, because we have a provincial lead. In each province across Canada, and hoping, they'll take initiatives and start, more groups and education and seminars, because we got to keep teaching people and learning from one another and how we're going to move forward. Because let's say, we're fighting, and all these systems like collapse or whatever happens, like what's the end goal? Like, what are we going back to? Like, are we just going to pretend nothing happened and go back to our jobs? Are we, all the kids are going to keep going back to these schools and keep learning all the same crap without their masks on? Are we going back to the same hustle and bustle of being isolated in our homes and our workplace and, forgetting about communities? So that's what I'm kind of curious about too. So we're fighting for freedom, but then what does that freedom mean? What does that look like in the end? And where are we moving towards?
Beta, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. It's called comfrey, COMFREY.
Mm-hmm.
It should be sprouting up within a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a furry, it usually grows in a round section. There's a whole bunch of leaves, stays about 3 or 4 inches from the ground, and it's got like a velvet texture to it. Do not use the roots in the fall. But spring, summer, you can even eat the leaves. I think they become bitter in the summer, but in the spring, they're pretty good to eat in salads. COMFREY. It's an old herb. And it grows here in Canada. I've seen it locally all the time.
Oh, yeah, no, comfrey's everywhere. It's amazing. It looks like you're getting a lot of requests to play the Pat King video, so I'm going to head out for the night. I had like 3 calls back to back. But as things advance and we come up with, learn more in our nursing conference, when we have dates on that and all that stuff, I'll continue to update you. But thank you very much for having me on briefly, and I'll let you guys get to the Pat King update. And Ed, I know we'll be in touch, and good to see you again, Derek.
Yeah, and while we got you out here, you got to call Stefanos. It's important.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Okay. Bye,
Thanks
guys.
for coming on, and
Thank
congratulations
you.
on the new
All right.
website.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, let's play it. What do you got?
Mandate protest that shut down Ottawa is still behind bars tonight. Today, he also found out he's facing 2 more charges. CTV's senior political correspondent Glenn McGregor has the details.
Please step out of the vehicle, sir.
Since his arrest during the Ottawa protest, Patrick King has remained in jail for 55 days.
I'm being arrested by these officers right now.
King faces a long list of criminal charges from the occupation, including mischief and intimidation. In February, he lost his bid to be released on bail when a court found there was a significant likelihood he would reoffend. This week, he was back in court to challenge that decision, but the hearing was interrupted when his lawyer, connected to the courtroom via Zoom, was hit by a malware attack that froze his computer. Back in session this morning, the Crown prosecutor told the court he's laying 2 new charges against King: obstruction of justice and perjury, misleading a court in sworn testimony. A publication ban prevents reporting details of the unusual charge.
It's not enough to prove that they merely said something wrong or that they said something different, giving sworn testimony in another instance. You have to show very, very specific information, not only that they lied, but that they lied with the intention of misleading the court.
The so-called Freedom Convoy began as a protest against the COVID vaccine mandate for cross-border truckers. Data obtained by CTV News show that in the weeks after the mandate was imposed in January, truck arrivals in Canada fell just under 4% compared to the previous year. But much of the downturn came in February, when parallel protests blockaded truck traffic in Coutts, Alberta, Emerson, Manitoba, and at the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, Ontario. Collectively, truck traffic dropped 29% at the 3 border crossings over the month, suggesting it was the protests, not just the vaccine mandate, that slowed the supply chain. Pat King will be in court next week for a bail hearing on the new charges, and then at some point a rescheduled hearing on the original charges. Until then, he'll remain in jail. Glenn McGregor, CTV News, Ottawa.
Unreal.
Man, they lie and they lie and they lie. Unbelievable.
Oops, sorry.
Every single one of those truck protests, as far as I know, they left 1 lane open. Did they not?
Yeah, well, as far as I know.
Yeah, so they might have slowed things down for like 10 or 15 minutes, maybe even an hour. But they're trying to blame the slowdown in truck traffic because of the protesters. It had nothing to do with mandatory jabs, did it? You lying. Oh,
I know. So we got Chris. We got Chris Sky tomorrow, don't we?
Yeah, Chris Sky is coming in tomorrow with Stefanos. You guys think you own your kids? Nope. Tune in tomorrow.
Tune in tomorrow, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you.
You're not going to be happy, but we got to get it out there.
Yep.
How much will it take? Vaccine lottery, all you needed to break. Tragic, we all got choices to make, but I seen more fight from Logan and Jay. Corporations are more than willing to pay for you to take the jab, do whatever they say. Continue making trillions while citizens stay at home, compliant, afraid. Just trust the science and be compliant. There's no defiance. You will be silent. So when you do everything you've done, your consciousness becomes body inside. One day you wake up when you're control. So what's the price of your soul? Was it silver and gold? So what's the price of your soul? Was it silver and gold? Tell me this, how much will it take for you to understand and be fully awake and see that your liberties are what's really at stake? After emails leak proving Fauci is fake, 800 down to the Wuhan labs. Another 4 mil went to studying facts. Doc said it himself, ain't no point in the math. But I'm mad at top facts when I ask. Just trust the science and take compliance. There's no defiance. You will be silent. So when you do everything you're told, your consciousness becomes part inside. One day you wake up when you're control. So what's the price of your soul? Was it silver and gold?
Freedom Report is crowdfunded. We can take $5, $10, whatever you can do to keep the show going. So do so, please.